Hey guys, we're going to talk about the plus tag, which is a part of the big concept. So we ran it a little bit today at 7-on-7. You guys did a nice job with it. I know the returning players, you have an understanding of it, but to kind of explain it for everybody, because it was a little confusing for some of us, and that's fine because it's new for a lot of us too. Here's a basic explanation. Plus is essentially a tag for the S. So if you're looking at this, this is right trips, cheap plus right, as indicated up here. So let's kind of deconstruct this a little bit. If it was, you guys are used to running cheap out of spread. If it was spread, okay, the S disappears, right? He's not on this side anymore, right? That's different. The other thing that's different is he would run a book on the backside. Okay, so that's the only thing that's different. Now it's just cheap right out of spread. So let's back it up then. I move the S to the trip side, and he is now going to run a duplicate route of what the outside receiver is doing. So the only thing that changes is the S. Everybody else is doing the same thing they would do on regular cheap. Y runs the curl, Z runs the speed out, X runs the dig on the backside. The only thing that's different is instead of S being on the backside running a book, he's to the play side running a curl in this case, which is the same thing as the outside receiver. Right? Remember our numbering system from outside in 1, 2, 3. So 1 and 2 are doing the same thing in plus. It's essentially a tag for the S to tell you you're going to the trip side and doing the same thing as the number 1 receiver. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll notice that your landmark is a little different. You're not running a curl straight up the field. You're actually going to kind of try to attack the hash a little bit more for a couple of reasons. First reason, based on spacing, these two curls need to be properly spaced apart. And we originally put this in last year because what we noticed is that we would actually hit the S quite a bit because there's a nice little open window here depending on the defense or coverage we're playing against, and we would actually hit this guy right here instead of the outside curl. So, and then the second reason is a lot of times when you inside release, the defender thinks you're running vertically, obviously, and then you kind of lose you lose the flat defender trying to cover the speed out. So it's essentially the same read as regular cheap out of a 2-receiver set. It's just the added bonus of having the extra curl there just in case. It really worked well for us last year, and I hope to do it again this year. Obviously, we can flip this over and do it to the left. Okay, so that's cheap plus. Moving on. I actually called it incorrectly. We were doing fire stop, which is okay. Just kind of looking back at what we did last year, we called it fire in. So we tagged it with an in. And the reason for that is if you guys run a stop, you may not draw enough attention. Whereas, clear, we're essentially trying to clear the post corner and fire in plus. So again, if I remove the S, put him on the backside, and I'm kind of talking in circles, apologize. He would run a book on the backside. Here's fire in. We could tag this. Remember, it's regular fire is the whip. We can tag this fire in. We can tag this fire stop. We can tag this fire slant. We can do a number of different things. So if I move it back to right trips, fire in plus. Again, the only thing plus says is S, you are running a duplicate route of what the number 1 receiver is. He's running the 5-yard in. It's the same thing as, well, it's really not the same thing as anything now, is it? It's a shorter dig route, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. 5 yards and then start going straight across. What usually happens is that both of you guys draw so much attention from the under coverage that it clears the post corner, which is exactly what we're trying to do. You saw it today when we were running fire stop. We had the opportunity to hit this ball out here. It gives you a little bit more space, and especially if coverage tends to overplay the trip side, it's actually better to hit because if you noticed, teams who are in a single high safety against our spread set, against a 2x2, as soon as we went to trips, a lot of times you saw the safety cheat over, maybe they rolled a guy back, and now they're in a 2 high, which means that there's a lot of space out here to hit this post corner route. That's what we're trying to accomplish when we installed it last year. So obviously the philosophy is the same. We're trying to hit this home run ball to the outside. Rayvon Johnson, Robert Hall made a lot of money on this play last year. So fire in plus. You guys 1 and 2, YNS, you both run up 5 yards and plant and square it off, make a 90-degree cut and start working inside. Okay. It's not a slide. It's like you're running a dig. It's like a 5-yard dig, okay, if you want to think of it that way. So 5 yards, start running inside. Again, X, solo, dig on the backside by yourself. And then obviously we could flip this over. Boom, there it is to the left. So that's fire in plus, okay? Lastly, out of 10 plus. So again, if I displace the S, moving back to the other side. Whoa, didn't want to do that now, did I? He would normally be running the book on the back side. Out of 10 is for the Z, right? Out of 10. So again, the idea is S, you're on the front side, you're running a duplicate route of the number 1 receiver. Number 1 receiver, and out of 10, you're running a go, which means S. Number 2, you're running a go. You're near hash landmark, all right? Near hash landmark. You're trying to clear the way for this out of 10. You saw it work a couple of times today, especially against York. So that's the idea. And again, X backside, you get the dig by yourself. So hopefully that's not too complicated. Again, the direction is everything. We would never call this to the single receiver side, obviously. It would only go to the 3 receiver side. So hopefully you have an understanding of this. The more we can throw at a defense, the better, obviously, right? The more tools you have in your toolbox, the more difficult you are to defend. So that was the idea behind this. And then obviously using and manipulating the personnel that we have to create favorable matchups for us so that we can complete balls, get the ball in the hands of guys who can do something with it after the catch, hit home runs, score points. You get the idea, okay? And then obviously you can flip this over and do it to the other side. So we will, officially, formally install this on Tuesday during our Indy time and run it. So, this is just kind of a head start. Great job doing it today, those guys who executed it, kind of on the run. I appreciate your ability to be flexible. And then from now on, starting on Tuesday, this will be in and it'll be a permanent part of our passing game. So there you go. Have a great weekend. Nice work today. You guys competed well. I thought that, there were a lot of positives to take out of the experience. Also, there are a lot of things that we know we need to improve on. But overall, I think we have a positive feeling based on what we saw today. So again, have a great weekend, get some rest, enjoy that sunshine, stay cool, God bless.